No, Dave.
What's that?
Is Dave coming?
Yeah, it should be. But that. That
YouTube's already going, just so I
What's
can
that?
get YouTube's going. No, Dave.
is going. Have we got
Is
anybody?
Dave coming?
Yeah, it should be.
No, just,
But
they just can
That-
join.
Oh, well, I mean,
Yeah.
have we
Is
got
anyone
anybody?
that?
YouTube's already going, just so I
What's
can get YouTube's going. No, Dave.
is going. Have we got
Is
anybody?
Dave coming?
Yeah, it should be.
No. Made it. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta send them from the, oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Still on my side first. I know. It's a little easier. So it's just different. Our church is good. So it's just different. Our times or something.
He's managing. So there was a way to contest it. What's that? I mean, the one question we had was, well, I will shrink this. And we're like, the best, and maybe. But from a bigger perspective, you say,
Not square one, but the one.
they're gonna be, so, you know, like, hey, what happened to you last week? Yeah, but just, yes, okay.
Yeah, I mean, preferably, yes, yeah. All right, starting the recording.
We want to welcome those or they or him to our city council meeting for September 24th. We're going to start the meeting with council member Fowles will give us either opening thought or prayer followed by the pledge.
I'll offer a prayer, Mayor.
Okay.
Our Father in heaven, we give thanks to thee that we can be meeting together this evening in this community body. We give thanks to thee for this land of freedom in which we live. We are grateful for this city, this town of Hyde Park, the blessing it is for us to reside here and be part of this community. We give thanks to thee for those who serve in our city. We're grateful for our city staff. We are grateful for our good mayor, Brian Cox. We pray that would bless him with health and strength to carry out all the duties he has with the city and with his family. We're grateful for the blessing it is for us to serve the community. We pray that would guide us and direct us in our conversations, our discussions, and decisions we make, that we can do so with the citizens and residents of Hyde Park City in mind. And again, ask now that would attend us this evening in our duties and responsibilities. We pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Please join me. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Dave. Never had that.
Well,
Thank you.
you deserve it, Mayor, and you need it.
It's,
It's not the only time I've prayed for you.
Well-
and I'm sure it's not the only time the rest of us have prayed for you.
I just appreciate it.
You bet.
I finished today. So
It's been a long 3 days. huh?
yeah, and looking forward to my next one. So when I say looking forward, I mean, not really.
Right. We all know your sarcasm and all the rest of that. Yeah.
But thank you. The first item on the agenda, I'm going to say it now, I let the chief know that this was a small agenda and that he's had some things going on, and then said his family's more important. And so I said, you don't need to come, don't come. So the first item on the agenda is to accept the meeting minutes from September 10 and 16, the workshop. So council, do any of you have comments? Let's take September 10 first.
No comments. I'm good with.
Yeah, not for me.
Do you have any comments on the workshop?
Saying no.
No, yeah.
If not, I will look for a motion to adopt the meeting minutes from September 10 and September 16th workshop.
I'll motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Got a motion from Tiffany. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
A second from Stephanie. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed with nay? Thank you. The next item is to approve the agenda. We have I know of no other changes to the agenda. If you don't, I'd look for a motion to approve.
Also move.
Second. Got a motion from Gerald and a second from Kurt. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Motion carried again, 5-0. The next item is to open our city council up for resident input. I always say resident because we are residents of Hyde Park. We're citizens of America. There we go. Questions and comments to the mayor of the council. Please review your comments or limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. It's a time, a place for a person who wishes to comment on non-agenda items and items that are relevant to the leadership in the city council. Items brought forward to the attention of the city council will be turned over to staff, and hopefully we can provide a better response rather than just trying to come off the cuff with a response. As we sit here, if we have questions, if there's only one person, then we'll close the input and you could discuss and perhaps ask more questions if you want to better inform yourself. So we'll open it up at this time for resident input. Having none, we'll close that portion. Without the chief's report, Danya, do you have anything that you want to report from the staff?
No, and Marcus didn't leave a staff report, so.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I didn't see.
Yeah.
If you got the staff report. I'm not sure what I want to discuss on the CRA.
Because they are gonna
If-
come, yeah,
Pardon?
because they are gonna present before.
Yes, we met with a business, light industrial group this last week. And we are putting together more questions that we have for, I think, council, you know them as Back 40. We're putting forward questions that will either probably go to them on Monday, and they'll turn around and get us some responses as best they could with the information they have.
And all council members can submit questions.
Anybody
Have questions.
um,
about it, you can submit them tomorrow.
Okay.
did, perhaps I will forward you an email that Marcus has started. And if you want to add anything to that, please respond to the council and Marcus on those questions. Marcus is going to be the focal and get it to Sean Milne, who's the economic development person, and we'll go through that way. But we got a pretty good start on some questions that we are curious about. They may be able to answer perhaps 90%. Some stuff they don't want to. It's not that they don't want to disclose. I just don't know that they know their answer yet. So anyway, we'll have that, and they will be coming. Probably, it might be the second meeting in October. They'll probably travel out here to meet and discuss with the council at a council meeting. So, or perhaps we'll have a meeting before that, but anyway, that's what they want to be able to do. Other things as far as input, it's tentatively that I've been told a date for asphalt on Center Street. I'll give you a time, mid-October, because they seem to struggle hitting dates. But I'll tell you that.
Mayor, what's the last reasonable time that we get asphalt?
So there's two answers to that. We have a required minimum ground temperature that it must be and rising before they can put asphalt down. And the batch plants close. When did they close last year? Mid-November, something like that.
Okay, so there is a little leeway
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Mid-November.
There can shorten that too.
Certainly can. We get a cold snap and they get a frost in the ground. It's going to be hard for them to get the frost out of the ground.
I drove down this today. Well, that's a long ways from being close to even finished.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that. I'll make you aware of, we had a water leak in the line on Dave's Road where he lives. That would be, we had a water leak. It was repaired and then it leaked again. And by leak, I mean, not quite Old Faithful, but it was coming up quite well.
And then it leaked, and then it Faithful again and again. So it's been 4 times since Monday. In 4 different places.
4 different places. One of them was twice in the same area, so
Yeah.
5 leaks. But
right.
yeah,
Did our citizens losing access to water during all this? Are we
We-
turning their water off?
Dave and I actually helped knock on some doors before the guys were shutting it off to tell them to fill up their sinks and their tubs and stuff. So they're very appreciative. They're very good and understanding, but I think this needs to be a lesson in our process in that road was re-asphalted. New asphalt was put down. I think in the 10 months that Charles was there, we had new asphalt put down. there wasn't an assessment of the infrastructure that's underneath that. So we got a brand new road that's gonna have patches all over it. So in the future, before we move forward on any overlays or grind and replace, we as a city need to have an assessment of the infrastructure that's under it. And either if we can't afford it, we move to the next project and we save money to replace that infrastructure. Because the amount of, I think we're going to go ahead and replace the infrastructure now, but now we got half a road that is spent, 5 repairs that have been spent, man hours, materials. And this road will be the most expensive half road in the city. So
That services, what, 8 or 10 residents?
8 or 10 homes.
Yeah.
And so,
In fact, Mayor, since you mentioned that, I know of 2 roads that we've resurfaced this summer,
yeah,
right? And did we look at the infrastructure before we did that?
I can't answer that for positive, but I'll put lunch on it and say no.
Okay, so, well, I'll probably ask the question of you offline somewhere sometime. So like, Mayor, what's the process that we've got in place?
We need to have that process.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So
Thanks.
that should be, it's a hard learning curve, but nonetheless, learn from our mistakes, Heather. We're bound to repeat them. The other one, major thing in this, we've got the grant information proposal ready to go forward. Marcus is going to make that with the help of Josh. That presentation has for Wolfpack Way will be on the 6th of October. And then the grant awards are later, well, and I say the recommendation for grant awards are later in October, and then it's got to go to Cache County Council for approval. That is a big one. We also had a contractor on the well house knock down a power line. And I got the news from Ben while he was repairing the road. So, and I was told that it was secured inside the pickleball court. So I was more than a little shocked when I got down here and I saw 6 people playing pickleball. I was, yeah, I was concerned, had to make some calls, and between the time that they notified Ben, I guess Rocky Mountain was on their way down and they had disconnected it at the top of the pole. Thank goodness. I wanted to go talk to him, but I was afraid to go out there.
I was going to say, when I was leaving yesterday, DWA was putting padlocks on all of the gates, so they were locked.
I saw the padlock locked on the chain link fence over here. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Don't touch the fence.
it's, I didn't dare touch the fence. I had no idea. But there was no injuries. That was the first question I asked. Nobody was injured, but man, the communication that or the lack thereof is troubling. And so that'll come up at our next Tuesday construction meeting with Josh. Probably should do it, not me. Because safety is just, God, it's frustrating. And then the other thing is tomorrow night, meet the candidates, 7 p.m. Come and we got 3 great candidates that are out there that are more than, the big thing is we have people willing and able and wanting to do it. And that's what's good. That's what benefits the community. So, and don't want to lose my agenda. So the next item.
Mayor, just real quick, would you mention the surprise meeting that Tiffany and I got to attend yesterday afternoon about the USU and the landscaping? That effort?
Oh, yeah.
Since we didn't know anything about it, we thought we were going to learn something, and we did learn.
They learned that they were guest speakers.
Presenting information.
just because we're all going to be engaged in that in the next couple months. And
So, if you recall, Visionary Homes has procured Lois Farley's property. And they've given a grandiose idea for the development and about a 2-acre park in that area. But we're trying to determine what type of park it would be. So Visionary engaged with USU Landscape Architecture Department, and they came here as a little workshop to try and understand what it is the city would like to see in this park. If you know where this park property in that, if you remember Lois Farley's property, there's a little drainage area. So we're looking, I think the consensus is that we're looking for something that is different than all the other parks. There's parks that have soccer fields and play structures. This could be a good, I say nature and nurture, where you can have learning opportunities with some of the landscape of what it does and how it grows. Maybe it's native and things like that. It could have learning and growing that way, yet it's big enough to still have a pavilion. And if they're going to do play structures, perhaps it's more, if you've seen them, the composite logs and rocks, and let kids play on those kind of things. We found that we have this nice play structure up at Middle Lions Park, but we needed a rock retaining wall up there to hold back that hillside. Kids play on those rocks almost more than they play on the play structure. So it, you know, we want them to think out of this box, but we also told them of challenges, cost, maintainability. What were some of the other things? Some of the things we like in parks, parking becomes an issue. So
talked a lot about, and McKell was part of it, and
Yeah.
Mayor and Tiffany and I had a lot of conversations about what the mayor's talked about, something different, something, you know, more nature oriented perhaps, and not just the same thing that we can have or we do have in all of our other parks. And really just kind of, we gave them so much. I don't know how they're going to come up with it, but they're going to come back in a month with some preliminary ideas, I
concept
guess,
ideas.
some concepts, and then 2 more meetings after that as they continue to work it. And then I guess by December, in the semester, they're going to have 6 different proposals and present them and let us, I guess,
Yeah,
pick the one we like. And
they'll have them up at the university, and they'll probably, we did that with Rendezvous. And if you recall, we had these people, we told them, what would you like? You know, we're building a city for people that it's not us. We already live here. It's for the future. It's for kids. It's for youth. And know that you recognize you're between a middle school and a high school, and they could use it as a learning opportunity. There's a lot of things. Look at North Logan, see what they have. Look at Smithfield, see what they have. What don't we have? And when people, we know that parks end up being a lot of funds that go into parks, and they don't generate, they're not a fund generator, but they are a quality of life generator. So when people, even outside of our community, come to Hyde Park, in the future, we have retail and any type of commercial or food industry, they'll be visiting within the site of the confines and perhaps doing their shopping in Hyde Park as well. So we shared with them the survey information. I think that has a lot of good detail if you dig and mine it correctly. A lot of the challenges that we have in the parks have to do with maintenance, which has to do with staffing. So I think that's some of the low-hanging things that we can tackle. And I think I've been speaking with Tiffany about some opportunities of how we tackle some bigger items. So it was a good meeting. It was a good meeting, and we certainly not opposed to they met like at 4 o'clock, I think, and we'll probably have the next one at 4 o'clock. I don't care if we put it as a public meeting, just so that we can have all council members that want to attend can attend versus just having two. Not a lot of people want to attend a public meeting at 4 o'clock, but if we put it out there, at least we're following the state law.
Yeah.
So
Mayor, do we have a document that already shows our maps of our existing parks? And
in future, I,
do we have that document? I have students that are texting me and I was like, I'll get you all of that information, but I didn't want to recreate something we already had.
in our general plan, it has existing parks. It doesn't have what is available
is
within the existing
Okay.
parks.
I created some stuff back when that just shows an overlay. Here's our parks. Here's kind of our holes where we don't have parks. I'll find
Maybe
that, send
share
it to
with
you, and
you.
maybe that's enough. And
Yeah,
that little,
it's just like, I can put it together, but I just thought if we.
that little slide presentation I had that listed, what the amenities are in each park, we could send that to them.
Okay, yeah,
So,
in future.
I'll make sure you got that, Tiffany.
Okay.
The things they don't have is the things that we planned already down at Lee Park, on the west side of the concessions in that area where we're getting 2 more pickleball courts. And they don't know of what Rendezvous is presenting, and we don't actually know. I've seen renderings, but until something's agreed to, there's nothing. But,
And I encourage the kids that I talk to reach out to council members or the mayor with questions if they might reach out to us.
it doesn't have although it's platted, the linear park.
Right, exactly.
Mirror subdivision and how we want that to
Mhm.
go along. Second West, I believe that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
does yours have that on there?
It doesn't, I could add that to
Yeah.
it. Cause that didn't come up yesterday, but I thought about it, like, oh yeah, there's gonna be a park across the street, a park, across the street pretty close to that's gonna have some things.
I think
Go ahead.
we make some connections with this group of kids. They're gonna be here next year as well. Our nephew is one of them that's going through this, that was in that group. And they might be willing to work on some projects,
Oh,
with the city
that's a good point.
while they're in school.
Yeah. If that moves forward
Yep.
in the next year and,
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
So the next item is for a public hearing and then consideration of resolution 2025-14.
Can I make one quick comment?
Certainly.
Right here on the corner, there's a bunch of ants. Would you let somebody know tomorrow?
Yeah.
Of the city.
There was a bunch of them and they'll be in here if we don't take care of them.
So we're gonna have a public hearing and consideration of resolution 2025-14. A resolution amending the fee schedule to modify the sports field rentals, subdivision, land use and development fees. Donya, could you pull that up? He put it in 2 and I sure like it to be side by side, but he put it on 2 pages. But if you pull up that first page of what the red line copy is. I hate having a public hearing that nobody can see. To have a public hearing on something that they don't know about. So there's a lot of changes and I'm as we go through it, I gonna offer something for potential consideration. But you'll notice that the subdivision plan review fees, most all of them are changing. And you'll see in column D, that says that those are new prices or perhaps renamed. I would, one that draws attention to me is, and we're ready to go ahead with the proposed changes, but on line 15, culinary water in lieu of shares. Many cities in the valley are just flat out requiring developers to bring water. Culinary water. They have to bring water rights. And that's what they're requiring, because that becomes a variable. We might can get them at one rate this year, and next year it's going to be something different. So we'll be revisiting this, or we're going to go behind. We're going to go under on it. I think we can certainly approve it as this now, but I really think the city ought to consider it would take a code change. And we ought to consider having developers bring their water. Perhaps there's a percentage that could be in water shares out of canal for secondary, but this is culinary.
Mhm.
And until we can crack a code on converting shares to rights, I think that's something that we need to be thinking about earnestly, because I know many cities in the valley already require that. So.
So with the new name changes, are those changed to our ordinance as well? Won't those affect our ordinances where they're renaming some of these?
On page 2, if you look down there, that's what it is cleaned up.
But I mean, throughout our ordinances, are they going to be correct? Like, so it's correlating to the ordinance are those name changes being applied?
Are they
throughout the
implemented
ordinance?
or do we have to go back and revise codes to change the name of those?
We may need to look into that, but I think most of these are just relevant for the fee
Just for the
schedule.
fee schedule, that's what
Yeah,
I was wondering if
yeah.
that was anywhere else. Okay.
But if you go back in the code and it says something about you need to pay an inspection fee, well, we don't have an inspection fee anymore. We have a subdivision
Right.
inspection fee. So
I
Yeah.
do think it would be good to
That's what I was.
take
yeah,
this and
I
go
think
back.
that's what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
Stephanie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
maybe we needed.
Council, if you approve this, then we would put the tasking onto Marcus to report out on that exact thing for
Okay.
next council meeting. But now that we know,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, now that we know that what they are, if you look down, there's development review fees, other fees under there. And then there's if you look down at the bottom, there's residential for all parks, reserving non-resident, and some of those are just new, but they are on the second one on the clean sheet. If you take a look at that one, it'll have the new proposals in there for parks, baseball fields, soccer fields, things like that. So those are the proposals. And Danya, if you would scroll down to I think you already did
Yeah, scroll to the bottom.
to the bottoms, okay? Because when it's open to public input, that might be where we get public input. So let's go ahead and
Sorry,
open
we
it
haven't
up.
had our hearing.
And I do have
Ask
a,
the question.
Amanda
Oh.
asked me to read something from her too.
Yes,
As part of the public
Amanda,
input. Amanda Rouse.
let's open up the public hearing
Okay,
and let's have it done so at this time.
okay.
And who is this from, Don?
Amanda Rouse.
Okay.
Thank you for taking the time to review my letter during the public hearing. Although I was unable to attend due to scheduling conflict, I appreciate the opportunity to share my concerns and suggestions as a resident of Hyde Park. I am grateful for the work the City Council and city staff have put into the recent changes for field reservations, helping me as a resident understand the changes and your willingness to be open to input from the community. I would like to request the option of hourly rental fee for field use in Hyde Park, in addition to day rates for weekday and weekend use. In Resolution 2025-14, specifically the field schedule for field rental, the weekend rental rate is 100 per day, which averages 10 to 12 hours of usable field time throughout the year, or about $8 to $10 per hour. Since weekends are in higher demand, this rate makes sense. However, the weekend fee averages out to a higher hourly rate. For example, at Lee Park Fields next to Cedar Ridge, full field access on weekdays, August through May, isn't available until around 4 p.m. due to school hours. In September, that allows for only 3.5 to 4.5 hours of usable field time, which becomes even shorter in early spring or later fall. At the weekday rate of $50, this comes out to $11 to $15 per hour, depending on sunset. Many soccer leagues and families only need fields for a single game or practice on weeknights, while Saturdays often host multiple league games or family gatherings. Weekday evenings are typically used for 1 or 2 games or a few practices. Allowing hourly rentals would give residents and community members the flexibility to reserve fields only for the time they need. As the team manager for my daughter's soccer team the last 2 years, I've experienced this firsthand. Our team, along with other soccer and lacrosse teams, use Lee Park, Cedar Ridge for practices. Sometimes a full field, other times we're shared fields. If I reserve the entire field for a night, but our practice or game lasts only 1 to 1.5 hours, I've effectively paid $35 to $50 per hour while holding exclusive rights to the field for the rest of the day. This prevents other teams from being able to use it. With an hourly rental option, multiple teams could share the field throughout the evening, each paying only for the time they need. By attending City Council and Planning Commission meetings this past year, I've learned that one of the most effective ways to create new codes and policies is through flattery, borrowing from neighboring cities that have already found successful approaches. Today, I personally called several Cache Valley cities to ask about their soccer field rental fees. Each of them offers hourly rates. North Logan offers a $10 per hour per field. Smithfield, $25 per hour or $125 per day. Logan, $10 per hour, $40 per 4-hour block or $60 per day. Hiram, $20 per hour for practices, $40 per hour for games, or $100 per field, I'm assuming per day. I didn't call Nibley or Millville, but I found on their website they offer $100 per season per team for practice reservations if the team calls the Millville field their home field. If the purpose of the recent changes is to allow more residents and community members access to the fields, I would recommend an hourly rates to the weekday and weekend rates. This would ensure the fields could be reserved for just the time needed, whether 1 or 2 hours, while keeping them available for others to use. Residents, community members, and leagues could choose to reserve shorter time slots or reserve the entire day if needed, ensuring flexibility for all and ensuring they have the fields for when we want and need them. I believe offering an hour rental option would benefit both the city and the community. It would make field use more affordable and accessible for families, leagues, and residents, while also allowing multiple groups to share facilities more efficiently. Thank you for your time and consideration.
We should have timed you.
You should have. I would have. I could have
You
just
read
put
it
this
pretty
in
fast,
the.
It's good. Amanda's been great coming here,
Yeah.
and being involved, and appreciate that. Do we have any other comment? Mr. Guyman.
So my name is Chris Finn. I am, NUU is a local nonprofit. We provide soccer opportunities for 1,400 children in the valley to play soccer. But as the president of Northern Utah United, I am most proud of the future citizens that we are creating. As a club, we raise over $25,000 to provide Christmas to those who are in need, with 100% of the proceeds anonymously going to families in the valley. For the past 2 years, NUU has had seniors receive the Susan Matson Scholarship Award for the service they provide to the community. NUU relies on and wants to be a great partner of Hyde Park City. As shown by the grant money that NUU secured for a portion of the Cedar Ridge fence, also shown by the $10 per game paid to the city without being asked to pay anything, which has happened for years. When the state association schedules games, they are scheduling teams all the way from Manti and Price to come to the city of Hyde Park to play. The state association schedules by March 1st for games that run through the first week of June. When needing to reschedule games, it's not a simple team from Brigham City that we are rescheduling. A recent comment that was made about a problem with sprinklers and working overtime. The visiting team that drove from Payson, Utah, left their homes at 6:30 a.m. to be here for a 9 a.m. game. The sprinklers turned on at 8 a.m., which had never happened before. An overzealous coach reached out to the mayor, which I apologize.
I personally called Brett Knight and worked through the proper chain. Ultimately, the game had to be canceled, having upset parents and costing the club over $500 to reschedule. I don't know of another time that we've asked for extra support. Regarding the proposed fees, looking at the surrounding municipalities, the proposed fees are double or triple those of all other municipalities. With echoing what Amanda said, North Logan is $10 per day. Smithfield is $10 per hour. Smithfield is $25 per hour. Logan City is $10 per hour. Millville is $100 per season, and Hiram does not charge us to reserve games, being that we provide the goals and we do paint the fields at both Cedar Ridge, Hiram, and Blackhawk. If NUU is required to pay the daily fee that is more costly than all other municipalities, and the liability of what happens on those fields after the 1.5 hour game, then we would have to have the field go unutilized rather than a first come first serve for any club or community member as it is right now. I ask that the city council reconsider the weekly day fee that was proposed, look at an hourly rate so that unused hours can be used by whoever. This increase in fees will be placed directly on the back of the citizens of the community who are already feeling strained at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Since there's nobody else here for comment, we can close the public comment portion and then open it up to questions from the council. I will tell you that I know of 3 instances where I've personally been called because of water and bringing in, I can't get somebody from Idaho to come down, our employees that live in Smithfield. Well, I appreciate that they paint the fields for them. Our budget is $250,000 approximately for our parks. So I don't think it would be a good thing to get into how much someone spends on the field, because I don't think anybody's going to come close to what we do. We did have a great conversation with some people that I believe were representing NUU. When they came in, there was 3 of them, representatives for NUU. We had a great conversation, and I thought we had a good working discussion about hourly rates, and we certainly can have that discussion. Tiffany, you've had some discussion as well.
Yeah, I have had multiple calls on Saturday mornings when I've been at the gym about water issues and issues with the field and concerns. So I do think scheduling is important. I thought I wasn't in on your conversation
Who was there?
with the 3 people.
was-
Dave, were you there?
Dave,
Melissa was there. I think it was city staff, Mary and yourself.
when Amanda, she was here.
I was not there.
No, I
I think that
have,
was Marcus and city staff and
And-
yourself.
Okay.
But the information that Melissa shared with Dave and I is that they felt like $25 an hour on the weekday was fair.
Sure.
For that weekly rate, for that weekday rate.
We shouldn't have to have them pay a daily rate for, a September soccer game when that entire day is school, and they may get 1 or 2 games in the evening.
So you would like to see an hourly rate? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and some of them were in that 10 to 20 range, and that's the biggest thing, I think, on our parks, is we don't want to inhibit kids from playing. We've had some scheduling issues, and I explained to the people that came in that we're not the only ones on that water line that comes down there to it. There's chemical treatments. We have to work around the school. That becomes problematic. We've only had once or twice where we've had other organizations or families want to schedule. Honestly, if I were a soccer coach, I would just go with the first come, first serve and not pay an hourly rate for practice.
Um,
For practices, but you want to ensure that you have the games. That way, if we have a set schedule, we can figure out our watering around that. But we're not the only ones on that line, so we don't get the water whenever we want, but we can figure out, maybe we have to skip a day here.
Or coordinate, yeah.
Yeah, so
Is that why we water on Saturday? Because my thought is, let's just never water on Saturday and then none of us will get phone calls. I got a phone call the first Saturday I was sitting on the city council and I was like, let me call somebody. I have no idea
Yeah.
what's going on.
so it,
So
because
that-
because we're not the only ones.
So do we have water turns then, or?
We have them, but if we can set a priority on that. So we can say, no, we have to have certain days to work around the schedule, not only of school. What happens when we chemically treat the field? When do we chemically treat the field?
You don't
And we
wanna-
don't want people walking their animals through there, children playing on it and things like that. So
Is that, I guess, also with school days, that we don't water it in the mornings typically
Yeah.
when school's in session? Is
yeah,
that part
so
of
there's,
it?
there's challenges that way
Okay.
with the school, but typically in the spring, when school's in, we're not getting water until April 15 or 1st of May. So that's,
Right.
we're not looking at a big time frame there. Kids are, maybe a month. And we might be a month and a half. School starts mid-August or latter part of August. And soccer will end first part of October. Is that right, Chris?
Last game is the first week of November.
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 That's what I thought their schedule was.
First game, second week of August. The last game is the first week of November. The contract that we've written with Logan City for the Blackhawk says that no games after October 20th. So if you look at the Blackhawk contract that's provided to you, there are regulations where you're not allowed on the field until April 15th and where you are not allowed on the fields after.
And there's also provisions for storm events, isn't there?
Correct.
So,
See if you felt the fields needed to be closed. And then to go back to the scheduling, if there is days that you want city events, if there are days that you want to spray for chemicals, if there's days that you want for any of those types of things, if we know by the 1st of March or the 1st of August, we can blacken that.
yeah. So
What happens for us is the city of Logan tells us what days that are available. We send it to the state association and then the state association has software that inputs the games. Right, so we can black out whatever days we use to black out.
Okay.
Are there games on Sundays?
There is
There
a
could be.
Sunday league game. But they do not participate in the state election.
Because I'm just thinking, sounds to me like that's the day to water. If you can water Saturday, just wait till Sunday if there's never a game there.
I think the watering schedule can be figured out.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as we have
If we have their schedule,
scheduled
if we have a,
reservations made.
yeah.
We can figure out the
Okay.
watering. I don't think that's a problem.
I'll get the calendar in every season for the past
I don't,
7 to 10 years.
I don't think that that's accurate. I don't think that we have any record of it, is what I'm saying. Just the research that I've done. We do have your current schedule, which we appreciate, but I don't think we have any past records of games.
And
Maury might have, yeah, he might have kept track of them. I don't know, but he didn't convey that information to the city.
so, and big thing is we want kids to play the fields. I don't want them
Yeah.
to go unused.
Right.
And they, 1,400 in the valley. Well, I'm going to tell you probably at least a couple hundred of them are from here.
Yeah.
Well, that's 20%. We do not say anywhere that it has to be a Northern Utah United team.
Oh, no.
No.
There are teams that participate on the whole.
What's the name of that new team? The one with the
There's a
green,
lot of them.
white, green and blue. Blaze, that's the one. Yeah.
Don't. Yeah.
No, that's, and I don't think we want to do that. I want to see kids in the park. We, So the big thing is kids are playing.
And why we want opportunities to schedule the fields so that kids do have opportunities. Because I know from a sporting, like a sport family, finding available fields so you can do your activity can be limiting, especially in the valley.
We've only had one or two scheduling conflict. There was a family that wanted to schedule, and there's that one. And then there's a Hispanic team, but they typically would go Sunday, I believe.
We been over that. We moved 7 games. Every
So-
single 7 games. But we understood the problem.
So I think the big thing is be able to get a structure so that we can do this. There's more and more kids. We're having more and more families here. Probably the ugliest sight that I could think of is having a completely empty field, a completely empty park. They should be out there in it. So figuring it out.
So we need an hourly rate.
Mayor, I do have a question, only because I happened to randomly sort of knock on Maury's door about an hour ago, which is why I'm late here.
Well,
And he asked me the question that I didn't have the answer to, and I told him that I would ask the question. Why the change? Why are we changing the fee structure or adding fees that we haven't had, for however many number of years that they've been playing on the field? So, okay, so for many decades, apparently. So that's my question is, why now the change, essentially?
get some structure to it so that we know what's going on within the park, so we can schedule ourselves, and whoever's wanting to schedule the park, typically it's only going to be NUU about 95% of the time. If they're scheduling it, then we can tell them what's going on so they can schedule around us. We've had some conflicts when we bring a weeknight, the sprinklers are on. I'm bringing people in on overtime
Okay.
to work that. I don't know how to shut those off. And so let's just resolve the problem so that it can run seamlessly through, Chris's group and our city staff, and it's not impacting the kids when you've got 100 people down there waiting to play soccer and parents with them.
And I've been
Mayor,
a-
can I
oh,
interrupt?
Go ahead.
I just think it's bigger picture than that. There's multiple groups that don't know how to reserve our fields. So we went through, let's come up with a way to reserve our fields. So anybody who wants to use our fields has access to the opportunity to reserve their fields. And then maintenance of the fields, the cost, we haven't been charging. There's been wear and tear in our fields, and we're not recouping any money to help cover those costs. And that goes back to our park discussion the other night at our workshop. Where are we getting the money to do these things that need to be done? That's part of the reason why this is happening. I know it hasn't happened in the past, but we can't do things like we've done forever because we're a growing community and we don't have an excessive amount of
More great
funds to
needs than-
do it. So there's a lot of reasons why now this is happening.
I'm going to chime in too. It is also already in our fee schedule that is $100 rental and $100 deposit for those fields. But we haven't
Hasn't been
known
enforced.
how, as a staff, we haven't known how to control that because a citizen comes in and wants to do that. So we rent it for it, and then we realize that they're already being used, but we didn't know they were being used. So we're just trying to get something in place so that everybody, including us,
Right,
knows what's going on.
So
And also part of that answer is what you did some research on cities and the number of population and how much park space they should have and how we're so under that level. We're going to have just higher demand as we continue to grow. So get some structure.
okay.
So people have the opportunity. And if it's NUU that uses our fields the majority of the time, that's great. But just, we know what's happening. Everybody has an opportunity to reserve fields if they want. It's all handled at the city. So we don't have an outside person that's coordinating it and not communicating to the city.
So the
It's been-
so the online reservation system is somewhat new then?
It's fairly new. When did we start it? Like a year?
I don't even
and a
think
half
we
ago?
have soccer's on it. This
We don't, we're getting,
We're-
they're adding
Yes,
that
they're working on
right
it.
now. And so
Yeah.
that will be so
So
nice.
that's been part of the issue. Somebody's
Yeah.
paid, reserved it, but other people show up because
It was
there's no
like
way to know.
recorded in the notebook,
Not paid,
maybe, or not even. paid.
not paid.
Yeah.
It's mostly,
Yeah.
the tournaments are always paid for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they have always. been.
Okay.
Yeah.
one thing that I would say is any fees that are collected for parks they're coming in with I'm gonna call it the color of green on it. So that's going back into parks. That's where it goes.
Yeah.
It goes back into that maintenance and everything. It goes into that. It's not roads, it's not sewer or anything like that. It's parks money.
So hopefully our soccer fields will be nicer in the future.
One, we have been paying for years. Melissa hasn't copied all those checks. That wasn't required, it wasn't requested, we just did it as
Okay.
to strengthen our partnership. It has a list of those checks for the last 5 years. We would also like to be able to reserve the soccer field portion of Legacy Park.
That will,
Because we have expanded, as the city grows, we do need to extend. Currently it would be a first come, first served, so we again have local teams that are playing on those nightly. And that would cause us to have to reschedule referees and teams if somebody wanted to come and have a kickball.
Yeah, I don't see
all
an
of our
issue.
fields will be able to be reserved, I think is the consensus that we've had. That was a city staff was under that impression that we were going to keep that open, but we've revisited that. And I think that they all will be for reservation opportunity.
I would think even the 4-on-4 or even Middle Lions, there's a spot there that can be utilized. So I want kids in
And
the
we'll
park.
create
Yeah.
more space, right?
Do-
That's a goal.
Do we have an idea how often the fields are used by families or residents or non-NUI, or I guess just organized soccer clubs,
Well-
whoever it might be? Do we have any?
Say that. When we do have childhood leagues, we hold a local league. And it is not NU, it is all of the clubs that are local that want to participate. There's also a lacrosse field that we work well with that is next to us. So it's not even to say that it's NU teams.
Right, could be
right?
anybody.
There's multiple teams
Yeah.
in town, right? So your field that is to the northwest and your field that is to the southwest on that field is not NU teams. That is a league that we host, but it is teams from every club, anybody who wants to play.
You're at Legacy Park, is that
Here it's.
at the Cedar Ridge,
Cedar
those,
Ridge.
those north? Okay. Yeah.
But I will say that I have seen sports utilizing the first come, first serve. I've seen the Little League football teams out there practicing. I've seen lacrosse kids out there practicing. I've seen Frisbee
Frisbee.
football playing, things like that. And I think the more demand that we have on them, it gets that structure so that they don't have somebody driving from Payson, Arizona, and coming up and finding out this field's occupied by somebody else or anything like that. So I think that is helpful during the week when after school, when they're wanting to do Little League soccer and practice. I used to coach that. Having areas that are open, you don't need to have it's nice if you have a field that's got paint on it, but you don't have to have it. That's what cones are for. So they can practice any flat spot. But so down there, I think what we're talking about is the weekly day rate, and that really, I think a line that should be added there, a weekly day rate, that's probably pertains more to summertime between May and August or mid-August. I think a per hour or per game, because a game is going to be more than an hour. They're going to lead up into it, and they typically, it's usually like an hour and a half, isn't it, Chris? Or hour?
Middle of August to the end of October and the middle of April to the end of May is the biggest priority.
How many games do they have a night when they're on
During
the,
week,
on a weeknight when during school? Two at most.
And then it's just open first.
So you
So if
can,
there's 2 games on a weeknight, Smithfield charges $25 an hour. That would be the same as our
Smithfield
week.
charges that. Logan is $10. I think they're anywhere from between 10 and 25. an hour,
Smithfield was the highest at 25. Logan City's 10, North Logan is 10, Millville is $100 for the entire season, and then Hiram is much worse.
so. You know, you can have a weekly day rate during school and it's, you know, $15 a game or something, or $10 a game.
My personal concern would be that you rent the bill for the entire evening. And there's an hour and a half game and everybody leaves and somebody comes and practices on the field, is something disastrous happens. Would it be our liability because we reserved the bill, even though we only needed it for from an insurance agent's standpoint?
Is that true, Mayor? Because for instance, if I reserved a pavilion and then things changed and I didn't show up and somebody comes and gets hurt on the pavilion that's not related to me.
I don't think it would be injury. I think it would be damage to the field, damage to the pavilion,
That-
damage, that's when they would be accountable for what
Because-
happened on the field. And I do think that's a fair point.
I would think if somebody is doing, if there is personal injury, they're gonna reach out and touch everybody that they can. So,
It's the equipment or
Yeah.
concession stand damage.
this got damaged.
And if it wasn't inspected because we didn't know that they left and we didn't inspect it till later, they could be accountable. Right.
But
Right.
what difference would it make if it was rented for 3 hours? They all leave. Does that mean someone from Parks and Rec has to be down there when they leave at 7 o'clock at night to make sure that the fields are A-okay? Or you show up the next morning and there's a problem and you don't know whether it happened before 7 or after 7 when they were there or not there. I don't know what difference it makes.
I don't think
I don't
that's
know.
been an issue. We cross that bridge when we get to that. I don't
It would
think
be a joke.
that hasn't been an issue, and I
Yeah.
doubt that Logan City goes in and inspects after you leave anyway, and they're,
No, we have. No. Gratitude for, to the city where we do sign a contract, but we are responsible for damages during our times.
Yeah.
But they do have staff that are regularly checking. In that situation, we do call the city determines that they want us to have the fields open or not, rather. Or if we need to delay the opening because of water problems or whatever.
Mhm.
so. Although we, in lines 44 through, well, through all of the soccer fields or baseball, perhaps there's, even a more fine tooth on that. Maybe there's a weekly rate during non-school summer hours. If they're wanting to reserve it, I would think if I've coached Little League soccer, I wouldn't be reserving it. I'd just be setting up cones and playing somewhere. But somebody else may have reserved that area, so I may have to play off over by the pavilion.
And the other discussion is to have, we have a sign where it says who has the reservation.
That's,
We're working on that.
we're doing that as well.
I think an easy solution would be a weekday hourly rate.
And I think I would agree with you, Tiffany. That sounds to me like the sticking point right now is that weekday hourly rate. And, you know, I'd rather it be used, as the mayor said, by anybody and everybody. And if they're willing to reserve it, you know, a month out so they make sure they have a place. You know, I never had an issue when I was, you know, a dad soccer coach for years because we had a place. And it would be very frustrating to show up and not have it. So I'm okay with an hourly rate that's more in line with the other cities, and at least there's some income coming in to help maintain it, which is better than having them just somebody showing up, you know, using it and there is no
So
income
They
to help
still
pay for
can do
maintenance.
the first come, first serve option, but if you want
Yes.
to know that you can have your
Right.
practice or your game that night, it would need to be reserved. And I think that hourly rate should apply to the baseball field and the soccer field.
So
Yeah,
And at
yeah.
the same time,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
and-
that's something we could add. So maybe we.
And they would
add the
need to,
lacrosse field
yeah,
there.
they need to
So
be
we
brought
can
up to
disagree
speed on
with
the
that.
conversation.
Yeah.
How do you work it with these other municipalities if they have an hourly rate and your games are an hour and a half? Yeah, you usually have the warm ups.
So what has happened is, I'll just, once again, going back to the contract. We go through and we total up all the games, they have our schedule, we total up the games and I deliver a check like they have here. And then, if there's any reschedules due to weather or something like that, and there was, they need to check by, November 1st. For the fall season and by June 1st for the spring season, right? And then for cash cup, we always reserve it, I believe in January, put that in the deposits and consider.
I'm just wondering. So they reserve for 2 hours and it's probably a 2 hour by the time start to finish setting up goals and, you know, herding the cats around trying to get the game started. I just wondered if it was do we go by an hourly rate or per game? It would be more beneficial if we went for them, but
Well, you
Right,
kind
but
of,
you
kind of
could
need
do-
That's-
hourly
you need
for
hour.
scheduling.
Yeah,
yeah, you need that. It, yeah, the challenge, yeah. Yeah, I get that. I was just thinking, man, if you went $25 a game, then but then you still might be challenged by somebody saying, well, it doesn't say what time you start.
It is,
So,
some of your younger games are gonna be short, some of your older games are gonna be long, right?
Chris, when do players, teams tend to show up in the afternoon or evening to start warming up? What time do you normally schedule your first game? At 5. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So it's possible that if I'm doing the math here, Mayor, it's possible on a weekday that from 4:30 till dark, so early, I mean, it could go for 4 hours, give or take. 4:30 to 8:30, but
Right.
rarely, certainly 3 hours with hour and a half games maybe in warm up, so.
that would,
Also going back to the Blackhawk contract, just so because cities like to see what other cities are doing. That is $100 a day for the entire complex on the weekend, that is not, per field, right? So, when you look at your fees that you're being proposed, it is $100 per day per field, which is triple what other municipalities. So take that into consideration also.
I'm seeing 10 is the lowest and 25 an hour, the
Well,
highest.
zero's the lowest.
Well, zero's the lowest, I guess. You know, some people don't charge at all. Others are in the $10 an hour and for 3 to 4 hours on an evening to get in a couple games and warm ups.
Smithfield has the Millers or whatever EA.
Yeah,
That's
you're
one
looking
of
at
them.
still $30 to $40 for a couple games in an evening, which isn't that much less than the 50 that's being proposed. So
That is younger kids, we're only there an hour and a half almost,
yeah,
which is very possible, very common,
yeah.
right?
And a fair point, I think that, yeah, NUU could come in and then maybe the lacrosse team comes in or the Frisbee team in those spring and fall hours. I could see that maybe getting higher usage from different groups if we split it into the hourly rate.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then it allows for greater use from whatever time they get there till the sun goes down.
Yeah.
And
And either
Yeah.
people operate on first come, first serve, or no, they need the field, so they reserve it.
Okay,
And we do have capacity to paint for ultimate football or ultimate frisbee or football or, you know, we do have that capacity. If that is ever a need.
And
We're not
that's-
saying it's only us.
Yeah. And that's something to explore in the future. Like, if that is a service that you offer and something the city needs, we can talk about that in the future. But right now, I think a heavy use is like lacrosse and soccer.
I wonder if we do a compromise and do something like $15.
That's what I was thinking, 12 to 15.
15 an hour.
What do you guys?
Yeah, I'm probably.
The way it makes it affordable and we can maintain the fields so that they can be better quality.
And that's a rate we can apply to every field we have. So baseball, lacrosse, soccer, any future fields, we can apply that same hourly rate across the board.
So if we charge for a soccer field, does that mean we should be paying to paint them?
Paying what?
To paint them.
If we're saying, hey, if you want to rent the soccer field,
Yeah, that was brought up.
Well, then that was scheduled, but it got delayed from rain and they brought that up that if we bring that in, they can get a gaggle of people that would help us disperse dirt. And one of them even asked about, can we plant some seed down there where it's been abused? And I'm like, as long as it's not,
Maybe
June
we-
grass.
Maybe we provide the seed.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you guys can go.
Yeah,
spread it.
we'll provide all of that.
I mean, just say, we're saying here, soccer field rental, okay? So anyway, that just seems strange that we're gonna rent a field, but we don't paint it and, cause that's an expense. Was it? Hmm.
The goal range from $4,000 to $6,000.
Yeah, and we haven't paid for those either.
Well, they put their goals down, but I don't have a problem with, we have parks money. You can move your goals and we'll provide our own goals and then they're.
But then
Yeah.
the fields would be a lot more to rent.
Yeah, but I'm just
We
saying,
have to
like,
then cover.
I don't know that,
Carol.
I mean, I appreciate that they're your soccer goals and that everybody's using them. We also can provide our own soccer goals that everyone can use. I don't know that that's
It's
a
not
factor
like-
to the discount or into the pricing. I don't think that's a factor in my mind. They've been sitting there a long time.
We did offer, I know where you can get some great sturdy pipe for soccer goals for free. Just come haul it off.
one other,
Thanks, Hacker.
Anyway, man, maybe
Yeah.
just muddy in the waters. I
I'm-
just like,
Are we a higher rate than $15 an hour? Because we have to have our public works going out and painting the lines and preparing them for the weekly games and the weekend games and.
and
That
they're
needs
they're
a
already
little bit of
overburdened. They're already overburdened.
Yeah.
They can't do what we need them to be doing already. So I don't think we need to
Yeah.
add in.
I mean, are you guys okay to still keep painting and? Yeah,
We'd be painting them with water base.
We come every Monday. Right?
Mm,
And
okay.
we use a machine to do it.
yeah,
Let's be honest. right?
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, I just,
I'm,
Right?
yeah,
With, Blackhawk, we do remove them at the end of October and bring them out in April, and that's more for ease of their consideration with the water issues.
oh,
With the school district, in exchange for using bills, we do provide the goals and nets throughout the year so that they're established.
yeah, okay.
There,
sir,
one of the things that concerns me is the fairness. You know, I don't want to pick on you right now. You're organized, you know exactly what you want, where you want it, and you can get it in the thing. And the next person comes in and says, oh, I didn't know that, or they're all taken. I mean, how do we treat this fairly?
I think
Or-
it's first come, first served.
well, it's,
Yeah, but it's still,
Also,
my
Go ahead.
point is, if I'm well organized, I'm gonna have the edge because I know exactly what I'm doing.
mhm.
and I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna take everything I possibly can. And I'm not saying that's not okay. But I just feel like
Up until this point, we have not taken everything.
have we had problems there?
At this point, we have not taken everything.
Danya, do we have people coming in and saying, oh, it's not fair?
No, I mean,
Okay.
seriously, 2 people in the last year have even asked to rent the soccer field. So no,
No.
this
If it's not a
isn't,
problem, then
this isn't a
Right.
problem.
And I
Yeah.
think that, we'll advertise, people will know when our website's up and going that you can log on and reserve. And,
with this, when we rent those, can someone go online and look and see when
they
there's?
should be able to.
not
They
being
can't
used?
right now, but
They.
Are we getting to that
we're
point?
getting, yeah, it'll be the same as our city reservations, our building
See,
reservations.
that, I think,
they'll be
would
able
a
to-
plus.
They'll be able to see it. Yep.
So that
Yeah.
they may have a learning curve, but they'll learn.
Oh,
Yeah.
They'll learn the next time, huh? It-
You can say you only want games on the field on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Mondays and Thursdays, Fridays, right? If we know what nights you don't want the games on, we can ahead of time tell the software that you don't schedule on those nights, right? If that is the concern. Or if you wanna say, we want the second Saturday of every month available to anybody, then that's your prerogative, right? We're not-
But again, I don't want to take away opportunities for
Right.
kids. So, I mean, I'm. with
I
the
think,
mayor on
I
that.
think if we start having more and more people wanting to reserve parks, then that's something that we may, say, gosh, we want to keep this night open for, the potential of people. We've had multiple, 15 requests have come in 2 months to reserve parks, and they're all booked up with all of these soccer. So I think that's something we tackle when we get there. And I have no problem with Legacy Park. Utilize everything you can for soccer or lacrosse or football. Let's
Use
get
the
kids
space.
engaged.
Use the space.
I want you to know that I understand phone calls too, because when I first got on, I kept getting them. And it's frustrating when you don't know who, what, where on like watering. And that's another thing we need to tweak.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Maybe I better learn how to do that. I can walk over there.
walk over and do the sprinkler.
Yeah, but you wouldn't,
Okay, Carol.
you'd be
Um,
out of town.
Maybe.
so yeah,
Well, the dirt that you're, it's been great, since as soon as I found out Jed, and he and I worked great. The
Good.
mayor and the police chief and I worked out well with the parking, right?
yeah.
We provided signs around the parking lot, letting them know they should not be parking in emergency lanes.
And yet I still see cars parked underneath the no parking sign. I know. It's a
I
reading thing, man.
Usually a tournament.
I want to just say one thing about that new fence. I really appreciate that. I just knew at some point some little kid was going to get hit because
It was a matter of
it
time.
would have, it only takes them 5 seconds for their parents to turn and they'd run out there and
Chasing the ball.
driving
Yeah.
by, you just can't see them,
Well,
so,
and it's,
yeah.
And
It's much safer.
I can't remember the participation. It was NUU got us a grant. I don't know if it was a 40-60 or something, but I know that they did that, and my kids played down there. That was a fright for me, as it should be for anyone. And we've been fortunate that there hasn't been something.
some that I may suggest, you look at it as a latest.
Look at a what? Oh, well, we're hoping that ravine, that the berm stops some of that, but yeah.
Are you thinking for kids, but also for soccer balls going out that way?
Yeah. Kids chasing balls.
And if I can, since it's been brought up, I was gonna ask the question, there's a lot of cars that park along
that road when there's a lot of empty places. So can we put no parking along 250 East there and Legacy? Because without cars there, you'd certainly be able to see easier a ball coming over the hill and a kid coming. With cars parked there, you don't have visibility for anything.
You
So
used all the
Mayor,
money on stop signs.
what's that?
You used all the money on stop signs.
Well, you're welcome, Mayor, and the residents, thank you, and Danya for spending the money on stop signs.
It should be.
I'll pay for the no parking signs.
No.
And that, you can put that on record. I'll pay for them. I'm not gonna pay $650 for black poles though, but I'll pay for the signs.
It's a package deal, dude. But you're right. We need to do that.
Just-
Hyde Park City has a different speed there, and going by a park, it should be 25.
I mean, I saw a car last night parked so that you come out of the traffic circle and take that turn.
I
The
was there.
car is across the white line halfway into the road and
I passed
there's
that same car.
yeah,
It's
there's
dangerous.
dozens of parking spots in the parking lot. So anyway,
Yeah.
Encourage
I'll-
people to park. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be in and out of cars and all the rest of that if the cars are not there to begin with.
So
That's a whole nother point from fee schedules and how much then getting back to if it's an hourly rate and
Okay, so I'm coming back to the fee schedule. If we do an hourly rate of 15, like you recommended, what does that look like on a weekend?
I would say during the week.
Do you just still want to keep it 15? Because it would. Do you want a half day rate and a full day rate? I mean, what does the weekend look like?
do you have a half day? Do you have a full day? Do you have an entire park?
Which is a majority of the day. I would
That's-
say keep a day. I mean, are you getting this?
so that's 6 hours and times $15 an hour is 90, which isn't too far off the $100. So maybe it ought to be
Just
the same amount and then there's no if, ands or buts
No.
about.
I wouldn't change it to an hour. I would just say if you have most of the day on the weekends, it's $100.
And do you have, how many fields we got down there, Chris?
Two,
We got two.
one at Legacy.
You have the whole field, which is half yours.
Yeah.
Then you have the far southwest one, which is entirely.
But
So-
we work, but that is a
We
whole
s-
another ball of wax.
Because we still maintain that whether it's school property or
City,
not.
'cause we maintain
Well,
their whole area.
We have an agreement with
But
them as.
what if
we
they come
maintain
in
it.
for one game or two games on a Saturday? Then it would, at an hourly rate, it would be 50 or 60
Demand.
bucks on Saturdays.
Yeah.
For a weekend, a higher
I'm
price.
fine with
per
doing
hour.
like a half day rate or something on the weekend. I don't know.
I'm wondering if
I think they're gonna get more use on the weekend.
do you have a rate for a weekend if you're gonna take all the fields for the day and whatever the day means from 8:30 till 4 o'clock?
So, as an example, it is $75 per field per weekend day.
For the weekend day, which is not far off from what we are at. We're at $100 a field for the whole day.
And
If you want,
That's,
that's what we ran.
and that's what our current rate is, $75?
no, we don't have.
Ours
don't
is
even have-
100 for the whole day,
It's 100 for the whole day.
which I don't think is that far off.
To go to $75 for the whole day?
I don't think I would change it.
Just leave it at 100. But
And then
it-
add
but
an
it is
hourly
current.
rate for the weekday.
And that's per each field?
Mhm.
That's soccer and baseball.
For-
Or
for
lacrosse,
All fields, for any
for any
field.
field, for reservation.
Okay, and then that brings us to the deposit. Chris, how does the deposit work in most cities?
Can it just roll over until the end of the season per day? And if there's damage?
Like, I'll be honest with you, with Logan City, we've been doing this for decades again. And so with Logan City, we just have a year-to-year contract that renews automatically, so that we don't have to go sign a new contract every year, right? They don't require a deposit because they know. we've
That
been
makes
around
sense
long enough.
And that makes sense with the contract.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so that's
Yeah.
how that And I know that Melissa has a copy of the contract now.
Yeah, she does.
I haven't seen.
So you guys can take.
Because I would be fine with even a payment upfront of a deposit per field that we held for the entire season. If there was damage, we would reach out to you. You might have to replace the portion of the deposit that was charged. Like, I don't know, in my mind with property management and real estate, like that makes sense to just hold a deposit, not have you pay a deposit every time, but hold a deposit that carries forward until there's damage that we would deduct from the deposit that you would have to replace. And that would carry forward till the end of the season, then we would refund it to you.
Right. And you would love.
Yeah, so that, something like that makes more
And then
sense.
also, I do wanna say, ever get a call about somebody calling you about water, I'll give you my cell phone. I will end it right away. If somebody is driving it side by side that is an MBU aligned person, I will end it right away. Right? Don't, as the president, I wanna know, right? Because that's not the proper chain of command, right? And nor should they feel like they should be able to call you on a Saturday morning, right? About a sprinkler.
Well, this
Also,
is,
do we
this is
serve
a
the
small
city?
town and,
Yeah.
and
Do we
everybody,
serve the
it's like
city?
Cheers, everybody knows your name, right? And
And we're okay with that, but it would be helpful to be able to be
Yeah.
like, have a point of contact.
If there's ever anything like that, I would love to hear it because it needs.
I know he spoke of Logan's contract and I prefer a contract that would be, it's similar, but it's, you know, maybe we have a 4-year contract and then you're able to, with 2-year mods or additional 4-year mods, because you may want to change the structure of that contract in 8 years. So if you can change a mod, meaning an extension, so that you can still have it and still not be coming in every year. You just, it's kind of like what we did with, who did we do a contract with where we have waste management? I think waste management got a 5-year contract and eligible for 2 additional 2-year mods. So
I was gonna say, I think it makes more sense on a yearly basis.
and we can do it yearly.
Yep.
The city needs to raise costs. We understand that as a reality, right? And so to be a good partner, we would prefer it would be something that could be renewed every year without any discrimination.
Right.
But we can make changes, you can make changes as long as it happens in January.
Right.
I think that's a better approach, is a yearly renewal.
So back to this, we have hourly rates for weekdays. Do you want to consider, well, it probably comes out about the same, just renting all fields on a weekend for soccer all day instead of $100 a field? Is it something else, or you just stay with what it is?
I think we just stick with what it is.
That's
We also like to have. There is, up until now, we've had a kosher, we'll call it kosher relationship with the lacrosse group. But we have been told that we can't step on that foot, right? They also have to understand that it's able to be listed.
Do you have the contact information?
Yeah, do you have contact for them?
I don't know.
I know somebody that has a son that plays on that lacrosse team.
Maybe.
Okay.
That lives here in town that
Yeah.
we can.
Where is that filled at?
The north end?
Yeah, it's just north of
The very far north end.
yeah,
Cause it would be the same rule, first come, first serve, or you reserve it.
Yeah,
So, and you guys could practice on it if they haven't reserved it. And so we just need to make them aware as well.
And at Legacy Park, I think we need to look, because I've seen where there's a big field outlined, but then you drive by and there's 4 small fields set up with goals. So I don't know how many fields, or if we have numbers for fields that would have to figure out in the reservation system, and maybe numbers on goals, so you know which field it is you're on. So however that works in the reservation system.
We just need to label
Would-
every field and we could go walk
And then build
And
up.
say this.
I've always thought that one could go east-west on the north end of Legacy. I know the challenges of east-west, but I wonder lacrosse is more apt, or football or something like that. They don't have the highest.
Last 2 years, I've had shifting field around so that the wear and tear is more evened out.
Yeah,
But the lacrosse did not want to participate, right? And so we did discuss shifting fields, right, to
Yeah.
allow the wear and tear to be evened out. So,
But-
but I also caution that we want to take that into consideration also. We don't always want one field to be in one spot. Right?
Well,
Because we're-
yeah.
And
Are
I
you
think that's a
giving me
great
the
point.
stink eye, Amanda?
And that can be
Oh, I'm like,
city led and.
is this a stare down or something?
That needs to be city led with
Right.
input from groups like
Yeah.
NU or lacrosse,
I mean-
where we maybe meet.
The city decides where the fields are gonna go and if they're gonna be moved every
city
so
needs to
often,
communicate that.
not the user of it. It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is still, this is that, right?
Right.
Where we just label them, say this is field 1, field 2, field 3.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
we move on.
Can be interchangeable.
And I-
Yeah.
But if we look
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
I knew,
yeah.
I had one son that was heavy into soccer and the other one into lacrosse. And I guarantee you lacrosse is going to be harder on a field than soccer.
Yeah.
All right,
But
I kind of feel like this is turning into an
right,
NUU
so-
meeting
and-
rather
and-
than a
and-
fee
okay,
schedule
let's
meeting.
wrap it up.
I have,
Right. I would motion that we add an hourly rate to
And
the fee
Add
schedule.
an hourly rate.
yeah.
$2 an hour.
And what would you like the deposit? Soccer field deposit is 100 per day or by contract, or what would you like?
Say or by contract.
by
That's a
contract.
good, that's a good, I would motion that we have an hourly rate of $15 an hour and the deposit stays the same at $100 per the
Per-
fee schedule, or by contract as negotiated with whatever group we're negotiating.
And can I ask, I guess I could ask this later, but a daily rate for Saturday, when they make the reservation in the system, do they just schedule every hour from from sun up till sundown? I mean, you'll have to figure that out in the
Right, I
software.
think that's, yeah, with
Yeah.
the, we'll have to figure that out, but it'll be, I imagine, either by hour or by day.
Okay,
Right.
you've got
Yeah,
that
they'll have
option.
That option.
Yeah, okay.
I would. So moving on from the sports, I hope
Mhm.
you took a look at
Yeah.
from the other ones, some of them on the preliminary plat and final plat, those fees were going down
Mhm.
on those, and then an additional, like a townhome, they're keep adding on different things. So there's those, the change on the culinary. Although that's good, and we certainly can do that at this time, I would say that, we certainly need to consider changing it to where they're not gonna buy out. That leaves the onus on us to find water. And I don't know that we're
Correct.
gonna find it for that price.
Mayor, can we change that in the fee schedule? And then just like these other, we're going back to look at the names, can we address the ordinance at the same time to correct it? Or do we need to correct the ordinance first and then change? the fee
That
schedule?
one is by code, so that would be a change differently. This one is just by the fee. And
Okay.
it tells them to go to the fee schedule for this, but yes, you're absolutely right. That one is in code.
Yeah, so
So,
we need to take it out first.
okay.
And I agree, Mayor, that we ought to increase that because I'm of a mind to say that no matter what a developer pays, the future owner is going to end up paying that increased fee.
Yeah.
Right? And we may still not, and still don't have the water. You got to have the water
Yeah.
no matter what the cost is. You could, and the developer, I would think, doesn't really care what the dollar sign is, because that's just gonna get passed on to a per lot price, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, so it doesn't cost them anything. It's gonna cost the future homeowner that wants to move into Hyde Park an extra dollars per lot, rather than bringing water, the developer bringing the water that the city really needs.
You're right.
And that eventually probably gets passed on to the end user the same, but I think
Okay.
it's better for the city to receive water shares than to receive a dollar amount.
Yes.
Mayor, I talked to Marcus a little bit yesterday about this. Could you explain just for the record,
why the fee changes and how they were determined and why we're making some of these changes? I mean, I kind of got from Marcus, but for the record. Or I could say what it is that he told me.
Go ahead.
What I understood Marcus to tell me is they actually when, and just in general terms, and if Marcus is here, he'd certainly do a better job, but as they actually looked and he sat down with Mikkel and they looked at the processes and they're changing some of the processes around to make it more efficient. So in some cases, the fees are going down because the processes are more efficient. In other cases, it costs more than what we've been charging and the time that's involved with doing that. So they've actually sat down and looked and tried to figure out how much time each of these processes that we're charging for takes. And, looking at really what it costs the city to do this so that there's a reason and a rhyme behind the fee rather than just, oh, it's kind of sounded good when we established the fee. So it really, there's good reason behind why some are going up and some are going down. I mean,
There's that, and oftentimes it's repeatability. They're building similar, so that overall look is the same look. Hopefully with different facades on it, on the fascia, but it's going to be the same repetitious thing over and over. And so there's economies of scale at play as well.
I felt really comfortable with the explanation that he and Mikkel, the staff, have looked at that, and
I would, as I said, the water,
except for
the water is a concern one for me, and line 11. On the new one, which is that's new altogether. I'm thinking that's low because
If we have
as
to
much
break it
time
down.
as what the city is spending on working through these, it's taken a lot of staff time, there's a lot of heavy lifting going on before it ever goes to DRC. How many times have you been into a workshop with Rendezvous or been into a workshop with Visionary and coming into having staff do the thing for the parks here? So I'm okay with approving it now, but I think we might need to fine tune that one, Danya.
Yeah, I did talk to Mikkel today earlier about the extraordinary review fee, the $200, and I really like that because this is what it's trying to cover is people just show up in Mikkel's office after she's told them what she needs for another review when they haven't provided any of the things she's requested. And so this fee is to hope to eliminate a little bit of that so that they'll show up for a review.
Serious and
Yeah.
We had one developer up on the East Bench, if you recall, and I might have, that he came to the city council or planning commission expecting the city to plan his development. And I always throw out that he's been there 22 times. Man, he's going back to the well. He's utilizing our engineers that our residents are paying for as his consultant. We are not the consultant. And that's a challenge. So
is that what that fee is?
Yeah.
Something different than already exists
Yeah.
for this. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if they call and schedule another review, she can say yes, but it'll cost $200 to do
So-
that. So
Okay.
I'm fine with that one. The development agreement, I don't want to make an off the cuff. Oh, it should be 2,500. I want some thought put into it as to how much time that the staff is utilizing to do these things. Have we brought Sunrise in on it? Well, they come in at $160 an hour. How many hours have they spent? So it's,
Yeah. Okay.
And that could be different per development agreement, really. So maybe the
Right.
base
on acreage.
and then
Number
some
of
additional charge.
number of units or acreage or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not proposing any change on that, but I think we need to have some more thought into that. We could keep it as what they're doing, but I think that's changing the city on that. 'Cause
Did I misunderstand something in our last meeting? We were having a hard time funding some things to have people come in. Are we allowing for that in these adjustments? Because if we gotta have somebody come in and clean on Saturday or take the trash, or I'm talking about when they rent our facilities, not our fields.
So
That was the one thing that we didn't have the money for, I thought.
No, we've got money for facilities. That's our facilities here. And I can give you, I think you were in on that when we were talking about some of the workshop where we talked about some of the challenges. After we get through this, I'll give you some information on that.
Okay.
So with the proposed changes that we have on the hourly rate,
And
the weekday
deposit.
hourly and the deposit, any other discussion? If not, I would look for a motion on these changes to our fee structure.
But my motion to change the hourly rate to $15 an hour, a deposit.
I thought we did.
We
that.
did that motion. So does that exist?
That-
It's already
It's
been,
out
there's
there.
a motion.
That would be encapsulated in the
Encapsulated.
approval of this.
Continued discussion
So
and everything else I
you,
would.
you're making a motion.
motion.
Okay.
I motioned it.
That Tiffany's making an emotion.
I'll second Tiffany's emotion.
We got a second from Dave on the motion to approve the fee structure as amended. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I,
Any opposed with nay? Amanda, we could only get through half your letter because it's limited to 3 minutes. I'm just messing.
We read it before we came. No surprises.
With that, to answer your question, I reached out to Waste Management, and there's, rather than having the Black Beauties, they have bigger trash cans. They're 4 yards, which would hold 8 of those Black Beauties. And they are locked on the top so that you can only allow garbage waste. So they don't, somebody's not going and putting their old mattress in it and a dresser or something like that. So I've got, Amanda's on that. So she's looking into that to see if we can improve that, that.
Do you have Melissa doing that?
Who'd I say, Amanda?
I was gonna say, I don't think I was looking into the.
I
I
correct-
got Amanda another
Thank you.
job.
Another.
Thank you.
There's-
Thank you, Amanda.
I'm sorry. Melissa's on that one so that, maybe we have less Black Beauties and more of these, and they can hold everything through the weekend. If they can hold 8 of those,
That sounds, that,
those
I
things.
like this.
So
So a rental,
it's a small square dumpster that they would bring. So, anyway, that Waste Management and Melissa is working that, but if she needs to reach out to Amanda, she can. Have you got anything to add, Dave? And Dave, as I'm looking at Kurt. Kurt,
No, I don't.
400 east to 450 north, and I've made Marcus aware of this. And I know they're in the process, but that's gotta be weeded there. When you stop at that stop sign there.
going west.
Yes.
Down the hill.
Yeah, the
You
cruising
can't
property.
be- And sometimes you pull out and there's a car coming because of the weeds.
We have our code enforcement that we should stick
I think
on that one.
Marcus is working on that, so.
Okay. Gerald, have you got anything?
I just, we got a few more potholes up on our road up there on where Worstons live. I got a text and a.
Yeah,
pictures.
I received that same one and
So anyway, I think, we don't feel like we're really ready to redo the roads, so I think we ought to try to get those filled in for them, and even though they're not gonna last, but they will get them
we need
down the
to-
road a little way.
Can we make sure that gets on the maintenance list? Because I know they try to record all of the places, but it's usually driven by complaints.
Yeah,
And it really is. So the big one that's down by you that goes into your neighborhood,
what's that?
Yeah.
Oh, I can give you the address.
575 east and 300 south on that, somewhere around there.
It is 284 North, 575 East.
Oh,
And-
so, yeah, north.
And I sent this on to Marcus too, but that's the address it's at.
Tiffany, I was gonna ask you something. Well, can you,
That I can answer.
well, I don't know if you can answer.
Like, what is it?
We've got the front porch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I put a plug in for the front porch, our activity that's coming up for our senior group? It's November 6th from 10 to noon. We're gonna have a cooking demonstration. We're gonna have a small activity home growing mushrooms that you can add into your recipes, and I'm not gonna say edibles. Everybody looks at me bad that way. But it'll be really fun, and I would like to see anybody who's available come out and to spread the word. And then I'm going to plug my next activity that's going to be on National Seed Swap Day, which is the last Saturday in January. But since we're all saving seeds now, save extra so you can share with your neighbors, and we can make it more accessible for people to grow food in their gardens. And we're going to start our community garden. We got a lot coming up
She's
from our Healthy Hyde Park
our
committee.
Get Healthy Utah. It
Yeah.
wasn't just for a plaque on the wall.
No, we're doing some good things.
For a way of life.
Yep.
Thank you.
So I don't know. We got some other things coming down the road, but
And I'll tell the council, the target audience is you.
please come if you're available.
The target audience is you.
Tiffany, are there some handouts for the front porch that we?
We do have a flyer, and I can bring some and leave them here at the city office if you want to share. Oh yeah, I could text them to you.
But
you could
yeah,
send
right
it?
here.
I'll text it to the council, and then I'll leave some here. We have a flyer hanging in the window,
Okay.
but
Great, yeah, if
yeah,
there's some.
that would be awesome if you guys would
there's-
pass the
there's some
word around.
people I think could really
I think so.
benefit from
That's in the
that.
newsletter too.
It's in the newsletter. It ran last month and this month.
Yeah,
Okay.
newsletter, I'm learning isn't the
No.
best way, and, there's some older people I know that would need to come out here and they're not gonna be getting the.
We are gonna go knock doors and deliver them to all the senior PUDs that we know with the youth council.
Do flyers.
Yeah, they're gonna help us just after
Great.
they're done with their scare house, and
Yeah.
so we'll do that. We'll get the word out that way.
Great.
But I also would like to get it into, like, if anybody has connections at the Catholic Church or in wards or anywhere else, any other group that might have that target group, or where people could pass the word along. So if you know of anybody. I'm
I know
happy to get
Sister
them
Mary
information.
down there. I've been into the Catholic Church quite a bit.
So if you have a
I'll take-
contact,
Yeah.
yeah, let's go down there.
I'd
I'd
like
love to visit with
take you
them.
down there.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Sister Mary? I think it's Sister Mary, yeah. She's been there for like 25 years. She's an institution.
Mhm.
Stephanie,
Sister Stephanie. So meet the candidates tomorrow night. I'm going to be a little late, but Tiffany is going
Help
to
you.
cover for me with the youth council. I've got 3 kids coming for sure that will help, and you will also be there to assist them. Better be.
I was like, I'm gonna lean on Dawn yet.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we're working on our Speak Alley and
that's,
save the day for our Christmas, hometown Christmas festival, December 1st this year.
ooh,
yeah,
I need
it's on
to
the
call
calendar.
Santa.
Is that in the evening stuff?
It is, it's at 7:00.
Yeah, there's Caroline, Santa, fire truck, the
Mhm.
Grinch.
Yep,
Some of those all show up,
treats.
and the Grinch isn't me. Um, It's a bonus. Dave,
Nothing. I know that everybody's sitting. That's good. No one's gonna fall over.
okay. Wasn't ready for that. I will be out of town for our 8th meeting on the 8th. So Gerald, if you're here, appreciate it.
Do you have a dentist?
I've got a dentist appointment somewhere, probably the 8th, somewhere around Nova Scotia. So
I hear they got good dentists up there.
they
Yeah.
really do. I'm going with that socialized dentistry.
Yeah, good luck with that, man.
All
Is
right, with
Pretty
that,
soon you'll just have to go to California,
I'll
apparently.
look for a motion to end our meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
A
second
motion
it.
From Stephanie and a second from Tiffany. All those in favor say aye.
I.
Let's go. Thanks for pointing that out. Yes, I got a doctor appointment. That's what I think it shows up as a dentist appointment in my calendar.